Afghanistan, and there's a large influx of the refugees in United States, and in particular in Los Angeles. How will you ensure linguistically and culturally targeted assistance is available for critical city services and programs such as temporary housing, affordable housing, food assistance, childcare, and more? How will you make the application process for city programs accessible to all? Thank you.
And first we have Gina Viola.
So my work with White People for Black Lives has taught me what it means to be a true solidarity partner and an ally and accomplice to other communities. And the first thing that I will do once I'm mayor is seek out members of all the different communities that Los Angeles represents to make sure that they have a voice and they are instructing me on how to make things more accessible for them. I won't be deciding for myself how to make these forms available to your community. I'll have your community work with me to tell me how to do that.
Next we have Karen Bass.
Let me just say that I support what Gina says and would use the same approach, because to me, the best way to be a policymaker is to go to the community, to go to the people, to go to where the issue is most impacted, and to ask them what is it that they need. And so I believe, first of all, that we are very welcoming to some refugees, and some refugees we are not. And that needs to change. It can't just be based on the political issue of the time. And if we do welcome refugees, then we have to make sure that they have everything they need. And so if there are organizations that address this population, then I would want to increase funding to those organizations so they have better capacity. If there are not organizations that represent this population, then I would want to help form them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Joe Buscaino.
Thank you for that question. I bring myself back to when I was a kid in San Pedro, and my mom and dad, my aunts and uncles, my grandparents didn't speak one word of English, and it was myself, my sister, my cousins who had to translate the forms, had to translate the DMV application, had to translate the LAUSD meal program. And as a council member, I remembered that to the point where even our own basic city services, the 311, was not even ever translated. We changed that in 2014. Now, today you call 311, you have the languages available that reflect the city of Los Angeles. And that's not going to change as mayor. I'll ensure that we work with city departments, county departments, and state and federal government, that when all applications are made available to our city, they are easily relatable and translatable.
And Kevin DeLeo.
Thank you very much for that very important question. This is a beautiful mosaic. It's an amazing tapestry. So many different ethnicities, so many different hues, so many different religions from all over the world. And this has always been a major problem of government, at the federal, at the state, at the county, and local level, that government is not accessible to the many immigrants that we have, many different beautiful languages. And that's why, as your next mayor, I will make sure that government policies, government regulations, government programs are in fact accessible to the different languages that we have in the city of LA. Because if you can't meet folks where they're at, then quite frankly, you can't get the resources to those who need it the most. It is absolutely critical that we do this, but also let me say this, is that, from an immigrant family, we always had to struggle. Who here, as a child of immigrants, didn't have to translate for their family at the age of 5? Very complex documents, very legal documents. But that's what we had to do just to survive for our family members. That's why we need to make government easier, not harder, for our immigrant families.
Thank you. And next, Mike Fiore.
Thank you, Aki. So when there was, as you remember a while ago, an explosion in South Los Angeles that devastated a neighborhood and claims were being made with the city, a number of the people who were adversely affected spoke exclusively Spanish. And my office sent folks down there who spoke Spanish to meet them where they were, but the forms were not in Spanish. And so I worked to change that. And I'm working now with the mayor's office to change other forms in the city, because that experience made clear that if you spoke Tagalog or Mandarin or Korean, a number of languages, that the forms that we employ in the city aren't friendly to you. So right now, I'm working on this issue. It may not be a city attorney issue per se, but it reflects my values. And that's the thing. You mentioned something that goes beyond translating documents. So you mentioned the possibility of immigrants coming here, refugees.